This is an issue about the integrity of the government. For many of my colleagues, it's an issue about themselves getting re-elected, whether Boris can deliver on that. And it's an issue about standing by the rules you passed yourselves, or we passed ourselves, irrespective of whether you think they're good or not. I mean, as you probably know, I think we've been over controlling in some of our actions on COVID. Frankly, all of that doesn't matter if you were willing to obey them yourself. If you're not willing to obey them yourself, you introduce a real problem with the integrity of government.
David, it's clear, and we've said many times here on GB News, this is a broad group of Conservatives from all wings of the party, from Steve Baker on the libertarian right, if you like, all the way through to Jesse Norman on the more moderate side of the party. Are you not concerned, though, as a former Brexit secretary, that this could reopen Brexit? We had Tobias Ellwood, who's the chair of the Defence Select Committee, saying that maybe we can go back into the single market. You've had the likes of Lord Adonis saying if Boris goes, Brexit goes.
Yeah. You know, the day I called on Boris to go in the chamber, then one of my colleagues resigned the whip and went and joined the Labour Party. And my comment on the day was, God save me from my allies. And I think I feel the same, I'm afraid, about what Tobias had to say. It's nothing to do with that. This is about the integrity of the government. This is about getting re-elected as Tories. Frankly, it's about getting back to a low-tax Conservative base. It's about competence in government as well, getting things done. Boris likes to talk about getting the big calls right, but many of my constituents are worried about the small calls that let them get their passport on time, let them get their driving licence on time, let them get their hospital appointment on time. These are all things that we've got to start getting right. At the moment, I'm afraid the outcome of the various investigations have meant this government is paralysed. It can't do its job properly. We need to get back to being a thorough, competent Conservative government. Not to say Boris hasn't done some good things. He did some good things on vaccines, did some good things on Brexit, he's done some good things on Ukraine. But overall, for the interest of the country as a whole, we need a new Prime Minister.
It would take 100 Conservative MPs to vote against Boris Johnson tonight. It's not going to happen.
Well, we don't know. We'll see. I mean, when I made my intervention, I forecast that this would happen in the autumn. Why did I forecast that? Because I thought by then would be the highest chance of getting a majority to vote the Prime Minister down. The simple truth is that this has happened earlier than I expected. That may or may not lead to an outcome. It may lead to a bigger outcome against him than I'm predicting. But at the moment, I think you're probably right. I think he will probably hang on with 10, 20, 30 votes. And then he's got to make his own decision, and that's a question of character and morality, whether he decides that it's right for the party to stand down in favour of somebody else. That's what he should do.
Nice to have various protesters shouting and screaming behind you, David. If I may, let me just press you a little bit more on who could replace Boris Johnson. You've worked closely with Dominic Raab in the past. Penny Mordaunt's doing a good job today of not tweeting her support for the Prime Minister, tweeting lots about a visit going on in her constituency. Jeremy Hunt seems to be emerging as a front-runner. If it is Jeremy Hunt versus Keir Starmer at the next election, is that enough clear blue water for people on your wing of the Conservative Party?
Well, you say my wing of the Conservative Party. My constituency matters to me before my wing. My country matters to me before my wing. If we've got a government that's delivering on proper public services, is maintaining a good economic environment, in the midst of what you know of all people, Liam, will probably be a stagflation crisis, then yes, they will win. You know, because the public are very, very smart. They're much smarter than we commentators and we representatives allow them sometimes. And the truth is that they know we're going into a difficult circumstance. It'll be more like the 70s than anything we've seen in the last many decades. And somebody has got to cope with that and deal with it effectively. I'm afraid at the moment this government, in toto, is unable to do that. Therefore, if what you've got doesn't work, you try to change. I'll make a decision as to who I want to support when we get a bit closer to the time. When we get to the time, that may not happen this year as this is going.